Hello, in this tutorial we'll be learning about the most commonly used logical functions. Logical functions are functions which return either true or false as the answer, or they require some logical condition within their arguments to carry on certain operations. And if you go on the formula tab, you'll see there are a variety of functions defined here, like financial, logical, text, date and time, lookup and reference function, etc. If you click on the logical option here, you'll see a list of different kinds of logical functions like and, false, if error, etc. So let me start by showing you an example here, how to use those logical functions in different situations. Let us say I have a regional sales data for 4 different quarters, for 4 different regions, and these are all the sales data. So let's say if I want to compare the quarterly sales of second quarter, now Q1 is first quarter, Q2 is second quarter, Q3 is third quarter, and Q4 is fourth quarter, and I have the total of all the quarterly sales here in row 9 for each of the 4 quarters, and I also have the total sales of a given region for all the 4 quarters, as you can see here. So now let us say I want to compare if the total sales of north region is same as the total sales of east region. So I am doing a direct comparison here, and I go into the cell C16. That is where I want to see the result. So I type in equal to, and then I say I am just comparing if the north region total sales is same as the east region. So if I say equal to, and the total sales of north region is G5, so I type in G5, then I say equal to G6. So this cell, the expression is now G5 equal to G6, and it is comparing G5 versus G6, and the comparison operator is equal to. So as long as this condition is true, as long as G5 equals G6, it will return true as the answer. If G5 is not equal to G6, then it will return false as the answer. So I press enter, and it's saying false, which means G5 is not equal to G6. However, if I was comparing whether the east region sales is greater than the north region sales, then I will do a comparison like this. I will type in equal to, and I will go to the cell referring to total sales of east region, which is G6, and now my comparison operator will become greater than. So I type in greater than symbol here, and I'm comparing it with the north region sales, the total sales of north region, which is cell G5. And if this is true, which is true, it just returns the answer as true. So basically, if you do direct comparison, you will get either true or false as the answer. And all you have to do is to just type in the reference of 2 cell and make a comparison. And the operators that you can select can be any one of them, which I have listed here. So this, you can do a comparison for equals by typing equal sign, or you can say less than by typing less than sign, or greater than by typing a greater than symbol. Or if you want to compare if it's something is less than or equal to, then you can use less than and equal to sign together. If you want to compare something is greater than or equal to, then just type in greater than or equal to together. Or if you want to just compare if something is not equal to something, then just type in the less than and greater than symbol together. Now, in this direct comparison, I compared one condition, and the condition was if east sale was greater than the north sale. What if you have multiple such conditions to check? You can use AND function to compare multiple conditions, and as long as all the conditions are met, then it will return true as an answer. So let me show you an example here. Let us say I want to compare if the total sales made in quarter 2 is greater than the total sales in quarter 1. That is my first condition. And I also want to compare if the total sale in quarter 4 is greater than the total sale in quarter 3. So I type in equal to, and then I say and I select the AND function, and now it can have multiple logical arguments here. So the first logical argument is I'm comparing the total sales of quarter 2, which is cell D9, and I'm comparing if that sales exceeds or is equal to the total sale of Q1, which is cell C9. So I'm saying D9 greater than equal to C9. So that's my first logical test. Then for the second logical test, I just press comma, and now it is highlighting at the second logical test. The second logical test is if I'm comparing the fourth quarter sales, which is F9, if that is greater than equal to the third quarter sale, and the third quarter sale is in the cell E9. So I just type in E9 and I close the bracket. Now if both the conditions are correct, then it will return true. If even one of them is wrong, then it will return false. So let us check whether it is true or false. I press enter and it is saying false. And it is saying false because it is comparing, first it is comparing D9 versus C9. So now the D9, the value in D9 is 614 and the value in C9 is 672. And clearly 614 is not greater than or equal to 672. So the first condition is false. The second condition, it's comparing if F9 is greater than E9 and the value in F9 is 605. The value in the cell E9 is 673. So 605 is not greater than 673. So in this case, both the conditions are false, and therefore it has returned false as an answer. I'll show you how to use OR. OR functions is similar to AND functions. The only difference is it will return true as long as one of the conditions is correct. Say you are comparing 5 or 6 different conditions or logical tests within the OR function, and as long as one of them is correct, it will give you true. If all of them are false, then you will get false. So let us say we are comparing, first let me type in the function, so I type in OR, and it also gives you the description just by typing OR. It said it checks whether any of the arguments are true and return true or false. It will return false only if all arguments are false, and as I said previously, as long as one of them is correct, it will return true as the answer. So now open bracket, and now you can specify as many logical tests as you want. I'm comparing if the total sales in North region in all the quarter, which is G5, if that is greater than the total sales in all the quarter for East region, which is cell G6. That is my first condition. The second condition I'm going to test is if the total sales in West region, which is G7, if that is greater than the total sales in the South region, which is cell G8. So now I'm comparing G5 with G6 and G7 with G8. And I press enter and it says true. So it means either one of them is correct. So G5 greater than G6. Let's see which one is correct. And actually, to see which one is correct, you can go on the formula tab, press the evaluate formula, and it will evaluate the expression that I have written in the cell, and you can see which one is correct. So now you can see it's highlighting at G5. So you just press evaluate. So G5 is 536. Then it will evaluate G6. And G6 is 652. So 536 greater than 652, which is false, and that it says false. So now it is going to check the second condition, which is it's first checking G7. The value of G7 is 717. And then it goes to G8. G8 is 659. And now it is highlighting underscore both of them. So it's checking whether 717 is greater than 659. And I press on evaluate. And that's true. Therefore, the first condition here is false, but the second condition is true. and on its own everything will become true. So that's how OR function works. Now moving on to the next function. Next I'm going to explain about NOT. Now NOT is, it reverses the logical conditions result. So if you have true, then NOT will say it's false, and if you have false, then it will say true. Basically it reverses whatever the result is inside, whatever the result of the logical test is within the NOT function. So let's say NOT, and if I just type in true, so I am saying not true, which means false, and that's what you will get, false. If I say not false, then it will return true. So basically this NOT function, it changes false to true or true to false. Let me show you one more example for NOT. If I type in equal to, and then I type in NOT, and if I now check some conditions here, do some comparison. Let's say I'm checking if the total sales of Q3, if that is greater than the total sales of Q2. The total sales of Q2 is 614 in cell D9. So I'm just referring to cell D9. That's my logical test here. Now, if this condition here, if that is true, then my final result will be false. And if my condition E9 greater than D9, if that turns out to be false, then my final result will be true, because I'm using NOT function. So it will basically reverse whatever the outcome is, and it says false. So what it means is actually E9 is greater than D9. If you look in the value here, 673, that is greater than 614. So that's true. But because I'm saying not true, so it is saying false.